This Sunday, the Minnesota Vikings go on against the Houston Texans. Texans are 4-point favorites in this game. It is an away game for the Minnesota Vikings, and we're going to be previewing this game. Now, this game is just a bad one. Both teams started out the season 0-3 and now are playing for their first win. Both offenses aren't looking good. Defenses are looking terrible. I mean, Vikings offense is looking really good, and Texans offense just needs some kind of a rebuild, or not a rebuild. They need to build around their quarterback right now because they've gotten rid of a lot of their people. Kirk Cousins is the opposite of Dwayne Haskins right now. Kirk Cousins had an awful start to the season. Let's look at it. Okay, 59% completion percentage. Okay, sure. 35.1 QBR, that is terrible, and has already thrown 6 interceptions in the NFL on only 5 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins had an awful start to the season. Now, he had an okay game last week. He had an okay game week 1, but that week 2 game was terrible. Now, given 2 of the interceptions were just like basically Hail Mary passes when they needed to do them. I think one was at the end of the second half in week 1. I think one was one was at the end of last week's game. But now the Vikings, like I said, the Vikings are playing 3 AFC teams in a row. We don't see this very often. And when we look at this game, both teams are just bad. Both teams are just not looking good at all. Now, Texans offense is looking a lot different than they did years prior because, of course, they don't have D-Hop, and that's holding them back because now they're giving the ball to David Johnson, and Will Fuller is their starting wide receiver. Will Fuller is no starting wide receiver. I will say that right now. Will Fuller is not a good starting wide receiver. Outside of that, they do have Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb, so there is pieces that have played in the NFL for a long time that they can throw to, and of course, it's not Dwayne Haskins. Was I saying Dwayne? It's Deshaun Jackson under center, and Deshaun Jackson is he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. He is a top 5 quarterback in the league, even when his stats don't say so. He is a top quarterback in the league because he is playing with a bad coaching staff and a terrible offense right now. And they're going to give the ball to Dalvin Cook, to David Johnson a lot in this game. David Johnson can run all over us. Of course, it doesn't matter how bad the Texans offense is looking right now. They can pass and throw all over us. They can pass and throw all over us. And still, again, we have to expect that Vikings are still going to give up, at least 25 points this game. I would say Vikings are still going to give up at least 25 points this game, even how bad the Texans offense is looking, and their coaching staff is not very good. They need new coaching staff and new coaching staff, and just to build around Deshaun Jackson. It's not very often you get a talent like Deshaun Jackson on your roster, and they need to build around him. They need to build around him a lot. That Texans defense is looking really bad. That Texans defense is awful, which is why the Vikings, I think, are going to destroy this defense. I think the Vikings are going to take this defense away. I mean, that Texan defense, you can throw all over them. But of course, how the Vikings offense ran last week is how the Vikings offense is going to run this week and weeks going forward. You just have to feed Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is a generational talent. You don't get a player like this very often. Feed Dalvin Cook and revolve the offense around him. You give Dalvin Cook the ball, he's going to look good. When Dalvin Cook looks good, the entire offense looks amazing. Kirk Cousins has a good game. Alexander Mattison has a good game. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kyle Rudolph, everybody on the offense has a good game except for the offensive line. Everybody on the Vikings offense has a good game when you revolve that offense around Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook gets over 100 yards. You give Dalvin Cook 20 carries at least every game, and you should be good. The Vikings offense should be good. Now, depending on how the opposing defenses do look, but this week, you can run against the Texans. You can run against the Texans. You can pass against the Texans. They're not a very good defense at all. Both teams have bad defenses. In fact, I don't know. Even though how bad both defenses are, I think that the score is not going to be very high because both teams I don't think are going to be playing for very much. Now, of course, both teams are going to be playing. They want to win, but it's not like these are both 3-0 teams. They're not playing for to win their divisions. They both know that they're not going to win their divisions. In fact, they both know they're probably not even going to make the playoffs. So I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game because I don't think there's going to be the same amount of competitive competition in the game. So I do think that it will still be a lower scoring game. I would give it in the 20s, maybe probably not even a combined of 50. I would say, okay, let's do this. So I would say Cook is going to rush for over 100 yards. Of course, Cook, just feed him the ball. And the Vikings offense is going to look good. I don't think Vikings are even going to get a field goal this game. I think their offense is going to look that good. But still, you give Cook the ball, and Kirk is probably going to throw for over 250 yards, which Okay, 250 yards, whatever, and probably account for 3 touchdowns. I want to see Kirk also rush for a touchdown this week. I think Kirk is going to have a good game, and I want to see him rush for a touchdown. We haven't seen it in a while. We saw Kirk rush for a 1-yard touchdown last year. Outside of that, we haven't seen it much at all with the Vikings. I want to see it happen. Kirk's been running with the ball a lot more than he has usually, and I'm so happy to see it. I've been saying every time Kirk runs with the ball, it's like music to my eyes. That doesn't sound very good. Music to my eyes. Anyways, still, when Kirk runs with the ball, I love to see it. I love to see it. Kirk running with the ball is just, it's so good because everyone says that Kirk can't move. Everyone says Kirk can't run with the ball. He can. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He stays inside the pockets and sits there and lets players come to him and sack him. He can move with the ball. He just doesn't. He just doesn't move with the ball. He stays there. Move with the ball, Kirk. If Kirk moves with the ball, the Vikings can look a lot better. When he does the bootleg, it works every time. Bootleg out to the right, bootleg out to the left. It works every time. Run with the ball. It works. I've never seen it not work, as a matter of fact. I've never seen it not work where Kirk actually runs with the ball. Thing is, he doesn't even know he has legs. He just stands there the entire time while he can move with the ball. Now, of course, he's not Lamar Jackson. He can't move like some of these quarterbacks, but he can move with the ball, and he needs to more, and we need to see it more. And I think that they're going to design more plays for that. Although you're paying this quarterback this much, and he's in his 30s, you're probably not going to move him you're not probably going to play design for him to run with the ball because he is going to get tackled. Still, I want to see it happen. I want to see him rush for a touchdown this game, and I think it's going to happen. I think he'll throw for 2 touchdowns. Outside of that, I don't think Justin Jefferson is going to have as good a game as he did last week. Of course, I don't think Justin Jefferson is going to have as good of a game, but still, I think Kirk is going to have a great game. I think Cook is going to have a great game, and this Vikings offense is going to look good. And I would give the score 28-20. Vikings take it. Now, of course, better off Vikings lose. Vikings are better off losing this game, but from the looks of it, this offense is just so much better than that Texans defense, and the Texans offense is probably going to destroy our defense also, even though it's not going to be a high-scoring game. They're both just bad defenses is what it is. So Vikings win, and at this point, it doesn't matter. Of course, it doesn't matter, but I still want to see. I still get happy to see Kirk run at the ball. I still get happy to see Dalvin Cook look as good as he did the last year, and I like to see Dalvin Cook look good. And that offense revolving around Dalvin Cook is going to make the offense a lot better. We saw it last week, and we will continue to see it this year. We saw it the entire 2019 season. When Dalvin Cook was injured, when Dalvin Cook rushed for under 100 yards, did the Vikings even win a game? I don't know. Just give Dalvin Cook at least 20 carries a game, and you should be good. You should be good. Let me know what y'all think.